Good afternoon, Rick. It's Sunday, what are we on now? The 21st of December today? Yeah, 21st. So,
Yeah.
One away,
Well, all right, mate. Yeah.
one away at Glossop yesterday afternoon. Just suppose your initial thoughts on it, because from just watching it, it seemed first half both teams sort of struggled to do much of anything. Then second half, it all sort of came to life, especially for us down our right hand side.
Yeah. Well, we got a report on them from my source, Alf, again, and they were playing this formation. You know, it's 4-1-2-1-2, which is essentially a diamond, and so we had to sort of, because of we were lacking in numbers and certain key players, we had to adjust. So we went for a 4-1-4-1. I didn't have a chance to go through it in training because I was away. So we did it just before the game, and lads picked it up really well. And we were just looking at them first off. It was a bit of a stalemate. We're just having a good look at them, excuse me. Yeah, so we're just having a little bit of a Mexican standoff with them. That was the hound there giving me jip. So having a look, and we dealt with them well. And what they were doing was they were faffing around, you know, they were playing it into midfield, dropping it back, trying to entice us out. And we kept patience. And the only time we actually fell for it when, they have a deep line midfielder who's getting it off the back four. I mean, what a pointless exercise that is. And then the two central midfielders, and they were trying to get involved and pull us wide, and they're trying to get the fullbacks going, all to try and let the two front lads, the 9 and 11, run down between our centre halves and our two fullbacks. And we kept patience right till the end when one went through. And then Alex says he sort of leant on him and he went down, and penalty was debatable, but there we are, it's gone. So not a lot happened, no. So 1-0 down at half time, but we didn't really. And we had a couple of skirmish chances. We had some half chances, you know, we didn't create much. And there we were at half time, 1-0 down. So we went in there and said, look, you know, you really shouldn't be losing this game. And down the hill, we actually talked about, the pitch was dry, it was bobbly, it was an all-world pitch that I like, actually. And play it in behind, make runs from midfield. That's why we played I'll go into that in a minute, how we did it. And second half, we kept getting in behind, and we deservedly went 3-1 up, and could have been more. So we did really well, and the lads were excellent, really were, and every one of them was an absolute credit. And just at the end, we conceded a goal in time added on for time added on. I don't know where I found the extra bit of time, but end of the day, it's a good win. And that's it. We'll take that up any day of the week, won't we?
And of course, Leeds also got a good win last night, which just...
Yes,
yeah.
Give you a chance to show them up. Slip that in alongside the Boca shirt.
But the first goal we got back, the equaliser, come through Boothie, and it was a good ball over the top, and just sort of caught them out a little bit. Keeper come out, no man's land. Quality finish by Boothie. He's not been, I know just by his own standards, he's not found that as much as he'd like to this season, but really good, really well taken goal.
Yeah, well, there's a standard joke going along, and Steve Whitley was on that mic near me, and we were debating what to do with subs, and he comes over and he's sort of giving Boothie a bit of stick, and I said, no, I said, you know, we'll keep with it for a bit, and Boothie was their best player for 60 minutes, without a doubt. And then, what is his talent? He's suddenly in behind in a fantastic finish, you know, as cool as you like, and redeemed himself in one instant. So we didn't give him the fishing hook right till the end. But no, wingers can get isolated. We put people out wide, or it was like a wide of a, sometimes wide of a three up top. And, you know, we've talked about this, you know, you've got to wait your time for that one chance, one bit of quality, and and he delivers. So that's the nature of the game sometimes. So I was delighted with that. Yeah, and we did know that, again, the reports that we could get in behind them down there. Flanks, and that's what you do with a diamond. A diamond is they sacrifice width. They go for high press. Well, they didn't really high press either, but they're susceptible to attacks down the flanks. You see, because they don't have wide men themselves. So we knew we could get in behind there, and so it proved for the third goal as well.
Yeah, that came down. It was Shez down the line, picked up by Pinney, and he did Pinney magic and found Charlie and gave him a nice one to slide in. But then, even from the second goal of the corner, we got a lot of joy down their right side. A lot of it starting with Sherry, really, and finding that space to, whether it was Whitley or Boothie or whether it was Pinney coming out wide or Charlie coming out wide. He seemed to be doing quite well finding his man down that wing yesterday.
Yeah, that's what we said. So Pinney was sitting in front of Lammy and Sammy Gellin, and licensed to join in with Higgy, who was staying central, and we had Stee and Boothie wide. And we're saying to the midfielders, Sam and Matty, you sit a bit and let Pinney go forward, attack with the 4. And it was just a matter of timing his runs. And then when he's on the ball, we're saying, look, get at them and see if you can find your mate Higgy or get a shot off yourself. And that's what happened. It was a well-timed run. Good ball from Shez, who was excellent putting balls in behind all day, to be honest. Really some fantastic balls into the channel. And once Pinney's in behind, they couldn't live with him, and he's used his composure, very good awareness, just slipped it to Higgy, who's finished it, and that's killed him off. Given us that breathing space for that awful equaliser as it would have been, if we weren't 3-1 up. And like you say, we got some corners, we got some joy, and we were. I always thought we were going to score from a corner as well, and Al Maitland gets his goal, and deservedly so, from a corner. The keeper spilled it, and it goes. So satisfying the way that we got the tactics right and we broke them down. The lads played it to the absolute T, and it was a credit to them.
Well, quick mention just for Al and Mikey, to be fair. They also had quite a difficult bit of pace up front they were dealing with. First half, they dug in. Second half, they sort of let them come into them a little bit more, but still handled it really well.
Yeah, well, we talked about that. I mean, the reports we had that the 9 and the 11 were quite rapid and would run in down the side. But, I think both centre halves nearly spilled the brandy. I mean, they were that comfortable with it. And, a creditable performance by both our Russian South Americans there. Took no prisoners, and we looked really solid. And I have to say, Mike brought, we were struggling for numbers, brought Matty Lamb in, and I not really know much about him, and he was fantastic, sitting in front of the back 4 as well, giving protection, ran all day long. He had Sam alongside him, he's had the lurg for 7 weeks now, and he was breathing out of his hoop, but fantastic dug in. And Higgy was equally as rough with his heavy cold, and again dug in, and they were constantly coming over for water and complaining, we're struggling. Well, you have no choice now. You're on, and you're not coming off. And it was great the way they dug in. Showed a lot of fitness and a lot of composure right throughout the team. Everybody played well.
You said about that with Matty coming in, and like you say, they play really well in there. And I suppose the only person we haven't mentioned yet is Josh Kane, who had a good solid game at left back again. You said about
he's improving all.
You said about with injuries and illnesses and suspensions, all sort of just stacked up a little bit yesterday for us. Where are we at with a few of them? Because now we had basically our entire front, the first sort of line and strikers are all missing, and a couple of midfielders out as well, and it just seemed to be the ideal weekend for us to collect a few more.
Yeah, I mean, going back to Josh, I mean, he's improving all the time. He's getting comfortable, and it's amazing just getting the ball and passing it to the wide man who's there all the time, whether it's Boothie or Steve on that side or Charlie, giving the ball there, and they just break that little barrier of getting him behind their covering winger with release one-on-ones. fantastic. And defensive cover. So they're growing in stature all the time. I mean, yeah, we've got, we had Joe Middleton out with a booking because he decided to roll around on the floor with that guy and get booked again. Although, you know, it wasn't his fault. Kyle was away, don't know what he was doing. And then, I don't want to know, probably in Manchester or something. And then we had Sam Baines is nursing a hamstring. We've got Adam Adebayo. He's done his ankle and he's not right yet. And I think he's gone down to Australia, but it's a bit late because they've lost. And then we've got, who else have we got struggling? We've got Jow, he picked up a hamster in training, you know, and Mesty's been ill as well. He's still got swine fever. And then Big Sean, of course, is only available at the moment for home games. So we were light on the ground, we were. But those that have come in, young Callum Dudley came in for us as well. And Treg was there. So we had reasonable bench and just some numbers to put on. But I said it to Juan on the coach. It's like the old days of Leeds United when they had, you know, 11 players and one sub for a whole season. They dealt with it. Mick Bates was the sub, in case people don't know. And he was a utility player. But so, you know, everyone dug in. And we had Clarkey as well, obviously, to come on. Mike, as soon as he feels his hamster, we get him off. We don't want that going again. And Clarkey went on and made a couple of thunderous tackles. So everybody played the part. But hopefully we'll get a few more back for the weekend.
Well, yeah, what is the sort of plan this week? Because obviously it's a fantastic win to go into Christmas with, and the lads got a couple of days after it. We're playing on the 27th. What's the plan for the week? Are they getting the week off?
Yeah, I mean, look, it was a long day yesterday, and we know how busy everyone is at Christmas period. You know, you've got more than your fair share of stuff to do over this week. And, you know, we don't want to drag people down on, you know, Sunday, relaxing today, whatever they're doing. I don't want to be dragging people down to Caststown on a Monday night when it's, you know, Christmas falls right in the middle of the week. So I've just said we'll have the Monday off. Obviously, we're having Wednesday off as well because we're not doing Christmas Eve. And so I said, you know, if you want to do some exercise, you know, take dog for a walk or something, go to gym yourself, whatever. There's other ways that I can think of expending loads of energy, but probably can't say so on live recordings. But there's, you know, plenty of ways to amuse yourself. And everyone rest up mentally as much as anything and get everybody there for the game on Saturday. And hopefully there'll be a decent crowd because there won't be much other football going on. And the Railway Cup's on the Boxing Day, so it's the day before. So, yeah, that's what the plan is for this week.
Well, yeah, just on the fans briefly as well. We had a good turnout yesterday, considering it was not the easiest game to get to during the winter with the way the boats run and the flights and everything else, and to get themselves home again. And we had what's becoming a common sight at away games now is the lads of the Tops Off. Yeah,
they're turning into Newcastle United fan club, aren't they? But it was great to see him up there. I mean, brave up there. It was freezing. It was up there. I mean, I always had about 5 layers on and still feeling it. I should be used to it, but it's a long time. But it amused me that game yesterday because it was a really old world game. You know, to me, it's not one of these modern AstroTurf pitch stadiums or anything that they get. You know. In middle of a track and that. It was really old football ground, that, and I loved those places. And they're all sort of thrown together, and you'd instantly, once you'd played there, you'd always recognise it again. And we had some banter with the fans. They were vociferous, to say the least, very passionate, that lot. But, you know, everybody went in the bar afterwards, very congenial, and I met some friends of friends as well, and there was quite a few Oldham Athletic supporters in there. I had a few photos with them and stuff. And a guy in there introduced himself to me who'd a friend of a guy I went to college with, a very close friend I went to college with, and also taught the lad who I was at Barnsley with, who's physiologist. He's the fitness coach for Sheffield United now, and I had him at Barnsley back in 2004, 5, 6 in his younger days as a fitness coach. Tom Little is called, and they both live in Glossop, these two lads, and this lad taught him at school. So it was good to catch up with these people, and it was a thoroughly enjoyable day, and obviously rounded off by the win.
Grant, well, just fine. I know we spoke briefly last week about what you coming out of Christmas hopes were. We've gone 3 unbeaten now, and it's 7 points of the last 3 games. Big home win last time. Got a game on 27th. Just if there's anything you want to say before we wrap up and go into Christmas, and then what you expect coming back out of the other side.
Well, I mean, I'm just glad we've got some wins under the belt, and we've doubled the points, and we've did jot a few ideas down here, but I can't remember. Probably not worth talking about. But I just think is to keep on with the stuff we're doing, which is, particularly away we're comfortable on grass. I know that we can put. We proved it yesterday. We put any formation out really at players, and we're comfortable on it. And one of the reasons we're comfortable on it is because we're technically better on grass than the opposition, because they are more schooled on this AstroTurf stuff. And they amused me yesterday again, their management team, because it reminded me when I went to Watford, and we used to do this shape against nobody. So you got 11 players, and the manager, Steve Harrison, would get TC, Tony Coton, the goalkeeper, to throw the ball out to fullback, maybe Nigel Gibbs or someone, and he'd go, the coach, Steve Harrison, would go, good. And I think, good. Anyway, then Gibbs would get it and give it to the winger, and then he'd say, good again. And then he'd say, well, pass it inside to Kenny Jackett, good. And this is against no one. And he's constantly saying good, and then he'd pass it to me, and I'd let it go under my foot, accidentally or deliberately. And he'd throw his hands up in the air, the coach, and go bananas and say, expletive, we can't even beat nobody. And this is what their coach was doing yesterday. They were passing it around, particularly in the second half. And even when they were 3-1 down, they're showing no urgency. And he thought it was good that they were keeping the ball off us in their own half. But, technically a very dangerous thing to do on a pitch like that. So I know we can press teams and we can beat teams away from home. The home stuff, we have to get the big players in for the set pieces and start destroying them aerially as much as anything else. And we can play on the Astro, I know that. But I do know that teams come there, they enjoy it, and they pass it around a lot. And we've been caught out on the break a few times. So we're just structuring our approach. And we're making practice. As I said, we've talked about this before in interviews, that it's we have to make training replicate what we're going to do, or what we're going to do replicates training. So we work on that, and we'll keep doing the same things, refining it. I'll make no apologies now for bringing people in, because I've sussed the way it works. People are available or they're not, and I know why and I know not. So I have to do the same to get around it. If I have to bring people in for certain games, I will, but we'll essentially play to our strengths. And we've got 19 games left, and we've got 7 away and 12 at home. So the balance there is, the big home fixtures, and we need to start dominating the home fixtures like we did last week, and then get some points and rattle off on up that table. And then who knows where it goes from there. I mean, all I'm looking forward to now is not even thinking beyond tomorrow, really. Just make sure I've got everything in for Christmas, and going to do LTFA for the next 3 or 4 days, and you can work out what that means if you want. So I think that's in a nutshell. And it just remains for me to say to everyone, thanks for all your help, and wish everyone a Merry Christmas. And we'll see everyone on Boxing Day. I mean, on Boxing Day, the day after. But no, I'll see everyone on Boxing Day, because I'm helping Peel out on the bag. and then we'll see everybody after that as well for the home game against Stockport.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Cheers, Rick, and I hope you and your family have a lovely Christmas as well. And yeah, we'll see you on Boxing Day in the Railway Cup final, helping PR, and then on the 27th at home to Stockport. So we'll see you then.
Yeah, brilliant. All right then. Cheers, Sam.
Cheers.
Take care. Cheers, buddy.